So the top would be at 37.67, the bottom would be at 35.78, and the targets for the upside would be 39.16 and the downside 34.74. So I played that clip because today was exciting in terms of technical analysis. It does work with AMC stock, and I'll get into that in just a moment. Really quick, I want to look at the daily chart. I'm following a symmetrical triangle that's shaping up. It's in blue here. And today was a pretty big drop outside of that triangle. It is possible that in the next couple of days the price will pull back up inside the triangle. That's what I'm looking for on the daily chart. So I followed this pennant. Of course, I discovered it late. I covered the flag, the head and shoulders, the gap down, and then I saw a rectangle forming right here. I'm going to draw a little rectangle around it. I said, that looks like a rectangle. And I was hoping that it would perform as a bottom. I did, though, give a target of 34.74. That was the target. And you can see that I've done some editing here, some revision, just so that it's clear to clean up my charts. And I've grayed out all of these levels that were green because now the pattern's completed itself. It's incredible to see that today's closing was 34.76. I had a target of 34.74. 2 cents, 2 pennies off, 2 pennies off. We can look at how that played out on the minute chart. All right, here it is on the 1 minute chart, and as you can see, I've made this price target a little bigger so you can see it. That's where the target was. The price came down and then found it and nicely and settled into it nicely here. We'll see tomorrow what happens. It's going to be a big signal. Either it goes up or it goes down, right? And I'm really hoping it goes up. And the reason for that is I see the potential for an inverted head and shoulders here. Okay? In that scenario, we'd see the price rise somewhere into the range of that previous rectangle. The price would drop, find support, and offward it would run. This day, just after the gap being a shoulder, and then that might be a shoulder, might be a complex inverted head and shoulders, and this would be the head. This would be our bullish reversal from this downtrend we've seen. All right, this next portion is really interesting to me. I was studying the runs from distinct valleys and distinct peaks and seeing how the Fibonacci retracement levels came into play. When I was doing that, I saw some intervals between the runs that caught my attention. So you see a blue line here, an arrow, a cyan line, an arrow, and a yellow line with an arrow. And the arrow's kind of off screen. When I did this, I was just studying significant lows to significant highs, distinct peaks and valleys. And the ratio just seemed, it looked like a Fibonacci distance. So I measured it. And sure enough, the ratios check out. The distance between these three distinct valleys fits into the series. So I said, okay, can that apply to the last few waves that we saw after January? And surprisingly, the answer is yes. Now, after January, Wanda, AMC's primary shareholder, was converting a bunch of B class stock to Class A stock and selling those out, and the buy button was taken away. So the price action following that huge run up is different than the last valley we saw from the last run up. That's okay. Interestingly enough, there is another valley at the 38.2, the same relative distance. So it kept going, and 61.8%, same, and then at 78.6%, right? And when I say percent, it's really just measuring the distance between the overall length that I've presented. But it's not really the length I'm looking for, it's the ratio. Okay, it's the ratio. So the relative distance between the peaks and valleys since 2020 through the middle of this year is similar to the distance ratio between the peaks and valleys since June. And if that repeats itself, we would find ourselves somewhere in this dip, in this slow dip, okay? And zooming forward, that would lead us into November, I believe. So, yeah, right there. What is that? November 9th, okay? So week after next. Next couple weeks could be really interesting.